everyone. This is Danielle Nicole, the Grand Stylist, back again to talk about the tips, tricks, and techniques that I am using at this time, not on how to make more money as a hairdresser, because as you know, hairdressers have been shut down because of COVID-19 pandemic and making sure that we all stay safe and stay close to home during this quarantine. What I am focusing on now is what the quarantine and the pandemic has done for me in a positive way. Because as we know, the best way to improve our attitude about anything negative is to go to gratitude, have an attitude of gratitude. So I wanted to share with you this list that I made today of what are the benefits that I'm getting out of being in quarantine? What good things have come from being locked down during a worldwide pandemic? And I thought maybe in sharing that, I could help other people to think about what are the good things that have happened? What are the good things that can teach us as we go through this hard time? So the first thing, I was thinking about how I feel every time school gets out and our kids are home for the summer. For me, I've always felt like I got my kids back. I can finally start putting back the family values that I've instilled in them from the time they were little. Because as soon as the school year starts, it's almost like we lose our kids. They are influenced by teachers, they're influenced by counselors, they're influenced by principals and other kids. And that's not necessarily horrible, but it doesn't always resonate with what we wanted to teach them for our family values. Like maybe we don't want them to be name brand specific obsessed. Maybe we don't want our kids to have the pressure of talking in a certain way or using certain slang and having certain attitudes. But we gotta wait till the next summer to get our kids back to remind them of that stuff, because 8 hours a day they're gone with people that have whatever values they have that may not necessarily work well with yours. So for me, the fact that our kids are home with us, their parents, the people that are responsible for what kind of people they become, and we have more time with them than they do, that's a good thing. So I decided to write that on my list of things I'm grateful for. Saving money. You can't shop. My gym membership, frozen. And do you think I'm going back even if it's unfrozen anytime soon? Absolutely not. And I happen to go to like a gym that's kind of like the Taj Mahal, so it's a pretty pricey bill every single month. But right now, I don't have that bill. But what is it forcing me to do? Because I like to exercise, be out in nature, which makes me feel more closer to my Creator and more prayerful and more mindful of all the beauty that was provided to enhance the lives of humans. So another thing I'm grateful for, I have learned more about how things like this happen regarding germs and disease and viruses. I never thought about that stuff. I never thought about how using cash handed back and forth between thousands upon thousands of people and all the germs, how cash can even be something that like, wait, what are we doing? I see people standing in line and they got a bunch of stuff in their hands, so they stick the cash in their mouth as they're doing other things. And it's like, okay, I mean, I've never done it, but I've seen my dad do it. Something like this, oh my goodness, I would never. And, making sure that we teach our children the same thing. I'm watching a bunch of stuff that there's like so much free education online that we wouldn't have time to avail ourselves of if we were working every day, all day. So things like chefs, I love watching chefs. I've decided I might be slightly obsessed watching chefs. And so I'm learning things about food and cooking that I never knew before, which of course means that I get to enhance the cooking that I provide for the family in my home. I'm less wasteful. In seeing shelves empty of protein and just basic resources and seeing how great a commodity food is, I am way, way more conscientious about what we're throwing away and recycling and just being more careful about taking things for granted. I'm grateful for having more family time at home. If I have to fly to work and I got to be out of town and whatever, I have to trust that other people are gonna sort of structure the kid's day in the way that I would. And everybody knows the mother is the backbone of how things go in the family. The mother is more in tuned to things that are like maybe not as important to a father or whatever. It's just that's how women are. They're the mother. They gave birth to the person. So of course, if they're there, things are going to be different in the way things are structured. And it's like you make sure that you have you're so much more involved in the direction everybody's going. And well, first of all, people aren't going in a bunch of different directions because we're under quarantine. So you have to deal with your family and you have to be connected, and you are sharing more time than ever together, which of course is a blessing in a lot of ways. You learn to be more resourceful, more creative in the way to create income if you're out of work. You think more deeply because you're not so distracted with things that don't matter. You're happier with less. You know, minimalism has been on trend for a while. But when something like this happens, it almost forces you into more of a minimalistic attitude and just grateful with less. You're more mindful of being prepared for emergencies and natural disasters, and you're more focused on making sure that your family is ready when something like that happens. You have more meals around the table, which, you know, of course, that means more communication with kids instead of everybody just like, oh, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Oh, I'm going here. I'm going to be with my friend. You're around the table because you're stuck at home, which historically has always been good for families. You're more prayerful, you know, less relying on your own strength to get through things. And you can even be there if you're not forced to be at work a lot to add more structure to the day for the family. So for instance, if the mother is not there, kids can literally be in a video game for 12 straight hours. They might miss food. They might miss water, they might miss exercise, they may not see the light of day outside of their bedroom all day. But if the mother's home and available, she can help to provide some kind of structure, like, okay, it's time to take a break, get off the game. I know you're talking to friends or whatever, but you gotta like make the bed. You gotta go outside and ride your bike or ride your skateboard, because at the end of the day, you don't want everybody to end up being a blob at the end of a pandemic. So these are some of the things that I have gotten out of this COVID-19 pandemic. Again, trying to have an attitude of gratitude and what I've been able to learn, what I've been able to pull from it that's positive. I'd love to hear what you have gotten from being in a situation that's positive instead of it just being one big nightmare. So please leave that in your comments. If you like this video, please push the like button, share it with other people. Follow me on Instagram as well as my YouTube channel, because I do have fresh new content every single week that I hope is helpful and benefits others. And this is the Grand Stylist, and for this week, I am signing off. See you next week.